This is the windshield wiper assembly. What I'm trying to do is get this to adapt to an electric rotary type deal instead of the cross. So probably gonna have to enlarge this, the length of this, and possibly these pieces here. But I welded on some brackets. This is where the vacuum operated one went. So I'm gonna play around with it and see if I can get this thing to, I'm gonna wire it up here. So this is the slow speed. It's grounded to the case, and then green wire is typically slow, and then yellow is fast. And then white should be home. Okay, so there's the wiper assembly with all its glory. Now, what we're gonna do is take this here AC Delker battery and we're gonna ground the body of the wiper, and then we're gonna go, it's gonna go on low speed. It's not great, but it's wipers. I mean, they're not they're not exactly on the same rhythm. Kind of gives it some personality. I sprayed some stuff on the windshield to try to lubricate it. It's just greasy. But yeah, I mean, that'll do the job. I'm just gonna put a simple on and off switch probably. There's a fast speed, but it's pretty violent. The bracketry's pretty crude. Here's high speed. I feel like it's gonna tear itself apart, so we're just gonna hook up low speed mode. Because at the end of the day, we just want them in case emergency happens. Okie dokie. No, taking a nap.
Because they prevent the animal from sleeping with you.
Get him, baby, get him, get him, get
They
him.
won't sleep with you
Oh, really?
if they have a cat tree.
Get it.
No.
Get this cat tree.
So,
I got a
for me, I don't like cat trees.
Okay. You're against it. Get him, baby. Get him, baby. Oh, jeez, I got it. I got scratched it. Oh, get him. Oh, yeah. There he is. He's bringing the Bronco Body back. Yeah.
Yo, bro.
Yeah, man.
Time to start doing some pressure washing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that boat trailer.
Yeah.
Utility boat trailer. That's the auxiliary tank.
This is looking a little trash too. We'll see.
Well, it's poly, so you should be able to clean it.
Yeah.
Throw some gravel in there and
Go wheeling.
yeah, some baking soda and some gravel. Go wheeling.
Right now, if I could use your help, is turn the tub upside down.
Okay.
On the trailer, and that way I can just pressure wash the bottom of it. And
Because
Get
that's
that.
what you're gonna work on, huh?
yeah, I want to get that done and kind of let that dry out, and then just pressure wash it, paint the bottom, and then put it on the body tomorrow, you know?
I like what you're thinking.
Yeah, let's just get her done. And I can do a lot of all these fixes and different things I can do while it's on the body, but
Yeah,
I just want to
yeah, it's almost like
paint
this.
the bottom of it. And
This should be a piece of steel, I think.
Oh yeah, like a little aluminum block.
Oh no, the stereo. I don't think it was called a stereo back then. It was a radio. Didn't have stereo. So I unbolted the seats, meaning I lifted the seat out off of the blocks. And put that aside, and I'm actually washing it out inside to do a permanent. There's the seat. I'm gonna do a permanent coating. The coating that I had before was one of those ones that requires maintenance. So I'm gonna do the inside too. That way we can get the dash and the doors. Let her dry out real good. I'm gonna hit it with a blower and just blow it out. Let it sit for a little while. I got 2 kits of this, but I'm thinking I want to use these on the better trucks, the 2 C10s, and maybe just use some real cheap stuff on this. Some Thompson water seal or something, like I did on the Hillbilly Truck. Because, I don't know. I think that might be good enough. This is wiring for a 4-wire windshield wiper motor. The yellow one is the high speed. I'm not using that because it's a little too fast for this application. But you have the blue wire, which is on this nut, and it goes in this heat shrink. That's 1 wire. That's the power. And then the red is the constant power. White is the return. That's the park, they call it, but that's the return to the starting point. And then the green is the slow speed. So the way I have this is the ignition power is on. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. The ignition power, it gets power when the key is on. So you pull this out and it's on, right? And then when you close it, even if the wipers are over here and you close it now, it returns back to the beginning. So that's because it has constant power here, and then it has the speed and the return on this side. So basically it's got constant power going in the motor when it's that's to return it when the key is on. But let's say I turn the key off and I go to operate it, nothing. So that way if it gets pulled and the key's off or it shorts or something, there's no power going through it. So key on, and then we're going to stop it, and it's returned. And where the ignition key would normally be is where I'm going to put this guy, and I'm going to use this RussT washer as a trim ring. I'm going to wrap this guy in tape over these connectors just to make sure it doesn't arc out on any metal in there, and then pop it in. And we got windshield wipers. Okay, key on, wipers. Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't exactly have a lot of range, but it's okay, it's doable. I mean, you can see out and it's just like what Jeeps do. They don't have a lot of, the wiper doesn't have a lot of travel to it. but that's acceptable. Okay, the panel's on, wiring's all tucked away. We got our fuse box, and what I'm doing right now is I'm putting, this is the factory Ranger emergency brake. I drilled a hole in the floor. I'm trying to pull the cable out. It's wedged up in here. Yeah, see, it's right there and it's getting stuck under that. Okay, so put in a couple sections of pipe just to guide this along through, and then I ended up cutting and looping the cable together, and this is where it comes through here. There happens to be a cross member right here, and then up here I welded in a flat stock piece coming down this way, so there's another bolt there. That way when you push this down, it wanted to pull it off the wall. And then this thing had a series of different bends on it because this is meant to go up higher, and this mounted underneath the cab, but on this truck it doesn't work that way. So now you can just pull it up and it's all, so yeah, and it stops the wheels. Here's the fuse panel up above that. I got some notes of the circuits that I added in there. And dash, I put some of that patina sauce on it. It's a clear coat to make it just a little smoother so this rust doesn't come off on your arms and whatever. Just to kind of give it a little more finish to it. Okay, cable's coming down. It's fed right down through the floor. And then this guy's gonna bolt up right there. And then the release, we're gonna have to make a bracket. Probably bend this release bar, shape it up, and have a little support for that. This is where it gets interesting here. We're gonna end up with some extra slack. So probably what we'll end up doing is just, clamping it together real tight. I'm not sure how to cut these back. It's either that or we can cut it and drill a hole through there, but I think just doubling it up and clamping it's gonna be fine. Hillbilly truck style. But if we can get that tight like that, she'll pull. I'm down to putting in seat belts, brackets. Gonna bolt the seats down, and before I do that, I'm gonna start working on this window because I have the plexiglass. Just went back to the house and I got this delivery of my plexiglass that I was looking for. And so that's here. I want to start working on that. So this door's got the same kind of clear on it. So we're looking good. Getting real close. I also cleared inside of old RussT, and I went and picked up a Ranger seat a couple weeks ago from a guy, and the cloth is nice because it's more grippy, but it actually fits in here, gives you a little more room. So I still need to make brackets for that, but I ended up doing the same patina sauce on this to clear over, in here. Do a little bit on the floor and put some more down on the floor, but it gets the parts that you come in contact with to make those look a little dressed up. And then the outside of this one, I was just playing around and I put some Thompson's water seal on it, just as an experiment. to see what it does. It might work, because I've got 2 cans of that I'm not sure what I would use them on. So that's kind of an experiment. Mark power washed the bottom of his tub, and we just flipped it over. He's setting it up here, so he's gonna put it down on the floor and then paint it.
Yeah, paint the bottom.
I took some scrap pipe and cut that in half and just made a little guide. So what'll happen is it'll come through here, and then it'll pull on that. And maybe I can put something over here to hold it. I'll bet you I can just move that. Take this guy off. It doesn't need to be in there. It could be up higher. It should really be up higher. So I'm gonna unbolt this, pull this bracket off, and then come up with another plan for that. Plexiglass marked out. I just traced the old laminated glass onto this plexi. I've got a wood bit, fine, sort of fine wood bit, but you could use, you know, a metal one or plastic. Sometimes they have plastic bits, but it's fine. I'm going slow. Just started cutting there. I'm just gonna follow this line all the way around, and it should be close enough to install back in there. Okay, plexiglass window. I ended up putting some screws in the rubber because when I pulled that back, it tore a little bit. Touch up those heads with some black paint and it'll pretty much disappear. But yeah, it looks like a window. So, I mean, it's good enough for this old girl. Keep the water out. And electrical's all done. Seat belts mounted. Windows cleaned up. Parking brake. Fuse panel. Wiring, you won't really see that because we're looking down on it. But when you're in here, this is kind of the cockpit view. Still got to bolt that seat down. Some angle and put it on underneath this seat bolt. And I want to clean this up a little bit, repaint this bracket. I might actually end up making this thicker, a thicker one of these if we go up a little higher. But we're coming along, getting close. Look at that. You can't see anything out there, it's so windy. Today's a high fire risk day. Super. And this is gonna bolt onto here. All right, brackets in there. Got these power lines set up. We got the bolts going through. That guy's welded in from the top, so then it's threaded in that way, and then this one goes up to the bottom just to make it cleaner. And we're gonna put the seat in there and bolt in the seat belt, put the bolts down through the floor, and this one will be done. Using these here thick washers under there, so that's gonna give us a little more strength. This side is done. Got floor mat in there. Seat is in, functioning. It's cool, it's got these little releases on the back, so if you want to pop open the seat, it's kind of basically an extension of that handle right there. But seat belts all bolted in. Electricals, not too bad. Now I'm working on the other side. Got little ranchero emblems put up there. So this was the bracket on the other side, and I did add this extension L metal to match up to this angle a little bit better, and also brings the front end up more because it needed to be, you know, a little better seat angle. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to heat up this awl. It's one of Grandpa's old tools. It's got that wood handle. So I'm going to heat it up, and then I'm going to jam it down into this hole and burn through the carpet, and that way I can mark where this side is. Then I'll do this first bolt, and I could do the second one with the seat out. Then we'll just be bolting it back together. Seat area clean enough, and here's our bolts. And bolt on the seat, bolt the back in, this guy to the bracket that I made, and clean up. Okay. Here's our other floor mat. Something like that. Let's try it out. It's all bolted in. Okay. We got our oil filter. We're gonna do oil change. Let's try out a seatbelt. Oh. That'll do. This part, the shoulder part's a little low, but I mean, it's still over my shoulder. We're gonna look for a vintage Ford radio we can stuff in there just for the looks of it. It's gonna work pretty darn good. Here's the completed interior. That's interior lights. Outside. pretty dark, but yeah, you get those lights. Yeah. Yeah. There he goes. First time driving the Hillbilly Truck. Yeah. Just taking it over next door.